Hello, welcome to another Tweedy Outdoors video. Bit of a whim today. I have come down to Hollingbourne, is it? Not even sure of the name. It's near Maidstone in Kent. Got some sort of outdoor cooking to do today, but it's going to be quite unusual. I have a self-heating hot pot, so it's going to be pretty different from the usual cooking. There's not really much cooking involved. It's pretty much like one of those sort of ration pack heater sort of setups. First time I've ever used anything like that. Doing a bit of research just on the train on the way here, I found that there was actually a henge discovered near Hollingbourne in 2011 or 2012, quite recently. I'm wondering if I might be able to find the location of that. So a bit of a mixed bag, self-heating hot pot and henges. But this is Tweedy Outdoors for you. Oh, there'll be some wine as well, of course. Hollingbourne Henge, already forgetting the name, Hollingbourne, whatever it's called, this henge. I just looked around on the map on Ordnance Survey's aerial imagery, because there were a couple of hints in the article about it that it was somewhere near the Pilgrim's Way, near that track. And I found what looked like possible crop markings in a sort of henge-like shape. Oh, okay. That ring-like formation I thought I could see in the aerial photography is probably just this dip in the land, which may well be completely natural. Yep, probably just that dip in the land. Oh well. This section of road I've joined now is actually part of the Pilgrim's Way, and on the Ordnance Survey map it has those oldie worldy letters saying trackway, so presumably quite an ancient track route here. It's metalled today, it's very much a modern road now. Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Heading up the downs now. This looks like a nice old track. That groove in the middle there. I think this is a yew tree. It's gone sort of reddish at the roots. Is that normal? Wood ear, possibly? Fungus there. I'm now crossing over a bit of the North Downs Way. Is that my imagination, or are there bits of wax in this tree? Candle wax, possibly? Odd. A Dean hole. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Terrible map graphics time. Dean hole. And sadly it's got this fence all around it, so not particularly attractive, but I suppose safety first. And that is fair old drop down there for sort of idiots like me who tend to bound along these woodland tracks in the dark. Probably is better that it has a fence. The exact purpose of these is unclear and the subject of debate, but it seems likely to me that they were probably something to do with chalk extraction. We are of course on the North Downs, chalky hills, and this was some mechanism for either chalk mining or possibly flint mining. The two of course go hand in hand. The name has caused them to be confused as being of the Viking era, because of course Dean hole sounds a bit like Dane hole, but apparently it actually comes from an Anglo-Saxon word similar to the word den, I think. Just wanted to get to the edge of the bit of open access land, because I think there's another one of those holes, although it's in a field, and I wonder if there's anything of it to see from a distance. Over there, more terrible map graphics time, is Jack Cade's hole. I suppose that's that depression over there. Maybe if I zoom in a bit in the edit you might just about be able to see. Presumably that has some bearing on Jack Cade, the leader of that, was it 15th century rebellion in England, and legend presumably has it that he used that, or he and his followers used that as a hiding place at some point. But presumably that is another one-time chalk pit, maybe, or possibly flint mining site. Certainly a very flinty field between here and there. There's talk of a viewpoint, so I think I'm going to follow that path over there, see what that looks like. I suppose that is a viewpoint. It is also unfortunately in a field of cows. They look to be just keeping themselves to themselves at the moment, minding their ruminant business. And a rickety old bench and everything. What more could you want? That's a bench with a career behind it, isn't it? Go. I can hear you probably can also hear the din of the M20 off in the distance. Down there are the fields where I was failing to find the Hollingbourne Henge. Hollingbourne Henge. I seem to be having hard work with that name, don't I? Should we go and look at this sculpture over here? He looks a bit concerned. What do you think? Like he has the weight of the world on his shoulders. This chap here. Ah, I see. Possibly a farmer looking by the. I don't know if that's a dog or a baby animal of some description. A calf, a lamb. But he has a nice view anyway. Hopefully that helps allay some of his concerns. This is great content, isn't it? Tempting though it is to sit here and enjoy the view from that rickety old bench, I think I'm going to somewhat retrace my steps, go see what the other side of the hill has to offer. This bench seems a bit less well situated somehow. Not quite sure what it is, hard to put my finger on it. Some sort of feng shui principle perhaps. Like and subscribe. Another bit of, well, part of the same area of open access land here. I remember reading before and noticing from walks in Kent that there isn't a huge amount of open access land generally in this county. It was one of the reasons I've been a bit reticent to come here. I do like the opportunity to just wander freely in a larger area and not have to stick to the footpaths the whole time. So that was part of the appeal of Hollingbourne. Shame about the pylons. Quite a good view here. Sorry about the wind noise of the route I have come, I suppose, and you can see that dip down there that I confused for possible crop markings or whatever of a henge. Hollingbourne down over there, I suppose. Why is that worm so clean? Look at the state of my boots for comparison. How are you able to actually live in the mud and yet remain that sort of bright pink? Would like to find a nice spot to sit down and make this weird hot pot thing, but nothing's really jumping out at me. It's either a bit too exposed and windy, like where I'm standing now, or it's overgrown, or it's muddy, or a bit too close to the cows. Can't seem to get it quite right. I found a spot to sit. It's not perfect, a bit windy. Sorry, you probably can't hear me very well, but it'll do. I've got a little bit of shelter from these hawthorn bushes. I've had to choose a spot very carefully. Sorry, terrible camera work. Because there's lots of these thorny, sort of broken off roots, are they? Or new saplings of hawthorn. Terrible, terrible camera work. Bit of a view, which is nice. Don't know what there is going to be in terms of a sunset, but keep an eye on that. The moment none of you have been waiting for. This was actually a birthday present from my wife. Quite excited about this. You'll note, look, there is a little emblem, a little logo of a hiker there. I'm not sure this is, you know, really designed for any kind of serious long distance backpacking, because it is actually kind of heavy. The 385 grams there is just the weight of the actual food. It has one of those ration heater type pouches in it. It's a bit like a hand warmer, I suppose, and that must weigh quite a bit, because this certainly weighs a fair bit more than 385 grams. It's well over a half a kilo anyway. Magically, this is self-heating. I've never used one of these before. I'm really intrigued to try it out and see how it works. So it has some sort of inner pot. I think the first task is to empty all these different ingredients pouches into that inner pot. And then that final one is the heating pack. We'll come back to that later. So we have the hot pot soup base. This is the tomato flavour one. Some pickled vegetables. I think that is the vegan luncheon meat. But you're all excited to see what that looks like. Some noodles, vermicelli. That feels a little bit on the light side. There's some noodles, pickled vegetables. Well. What have we got in there? It looks like some kind of seaweed, maybe some lotus root, ginger, or I don't know, something like that. So this is the vegan luncheon meat. Oh wow. Doesn't look hugely appetizing, does it? But I'm sure it will all come out in the wash. And this is the soup base is meant to go in now. This is the one that I imagine might be a bit messy. Just for now. Oh, probably doesn't look hugely appetizing so far, does it? I believe I'm supposed to put in this internal pot for now water up to the max fill line. Looks about there to me. And then just a bit cold water into here as well. That's going to activate the heating pouch thing. So now with all the scary warnings on, the heating pack goes in. That goes in there, and then I think it's apparently is going to start heating almost straight away. So as quick as I can, that needs to go in there, and then the lid goes on. Wow, you can already see steam coming out of that. Well, that weird thing is doing its weird thing. You can still see a bit of steam coming out of it. I'm going to open up the wine. Guess what wine I chose to accompany a self-heating Chinese vegan hot pot? Yes, Gevrey Chambertin. This is in fact the same wine I brought along with me on my last outing when I made the Irish stew. So I don't need to talk about it again. I have a case of this, you see, so I'm working my way through it. Apologies for the repetition. It's nice for once to be able to just sort of sit back and let that thing cook itself. I'm not really actively involved between now and 15 minutes time or 12 minutes time, whatever's left now, which is good. Sit here in the slightly cold breeze and enjoy a glass of wine. Is the camera wobbling in the wind? Cheers. Here's to slightly scary self-heating hot pots. Cheers. Wow, that is absolutely hot to touch. I think I'm excited about this. I'm not sure, I might be. Well, it has apparently been 15 minutes. Are we ready to take the lid off and see what horrors lurk beneath? Well, there's the steam coming off. That's a good sign. I might tuck in a bit of a bib or something, because I've got a feeling this is going to get messy. That's pathetic, isn't it? Not really achieving anything. Right, well, here goes nothing. Try a little bit of the soup first. Make sure we actually have some hot water here. Yeah, definitely warm. Tomatoey, yeah. Interesting, it's like sort of pasta sauce sort of flavour. This is some lotus root. Is that maybe daikon, radish? Is that better? I don't know. Don't even quite know what these ingredients are. That might be something like pickled radish. What's that? Seaweed? It's not bad. I mean, nothing's too overly strongly flavoured, I would say. I wouldn't say it's boiling hot. Well, it's pretty warm. I mean, maybe, as I've found before, sort of cooking on a hilltop in the wind, the ambient temperature is, of course, reducing this thing's ability to heat itself up. Time to move to chopsticks. There's no way I can eat noodles with a spork. Nicer than I thought, the vermicelli. I feel like I should probably brave a bit of the vegan luncheon meat slice. Don't really make it easy to eat. It's just in one giant lump. And stabbing that with the spork is going to be easier, safer. Interesting. It's not terrible. Hashtag leave no trace. I'm a little bit chilly now, so I've decided to pack up. I think I'm going to walk down now into the village that I still can't remember the name of. Hollingbourne, is it? More or less just head back to the train station, but perhaps there's still a bit of interesting, gloaming type scenery to be enjoyed. The fading light in the background. Particularly muddy path here. This is a bit crazy. I think this is the North Downs Way here. Quite nice to see the cheery lights of the village down below. Pink in the sky now. Hope that's going to come out. All the way over there. Very nice. This is Hollingbourne by night. Looks like quite an attractive village actually. Look at that beautiful bit of timber frame. Can't see it, can you, in this light? That's a grand looking residence. Again, too dark to see, I imagine, but there's the church. This is, I suppose, the village green. Nice handy shortcut to the station across here. It's a very long driveway leading off the road to Hollingbourne station. Back at Hollingbourne station. Well, that's been a funny sort of a video, hasn't it? I've got a feeling I end up saying that on a lot of mine. What did I do? I didn't find a henge. Looked down a couple of chalk pits, saw some cows, and then had a self-heating hot pot. I hope somehow there was some entertainment value in that odd stream of nonsense. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.